Hey guys, Nick here, and welcome to the Omniverse of Nick and the finale to What If Frieza Turned Good. Before we get into today's finale, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick, and further acknowledge and support the future of the channel by checking out the Discord, Patreon, and both Google Docs on the homepage, as well as commenting future requests and expectations for this year in the comments. Let's get started. We ended off with the Tournament of Powers introduction with our cast: Goku, Vegeta, Tien, Boo, Frieza, Bardock, Raditz, Piccolo, Tora, and Gohan. And the Tournament of Power begins. We don't see any true big league things until Universe 9. And everyone, the team is all staffed in together separately. We're not doing the whole Gohan, plan up team thing. Instead, they focus those kind of tandem attacks all around, picking off anyone, really. And Universe 9 instantly goes for them. As such, they attack them. Frieza fights Roselle, but Frieza is much nicer here, while still being brutal to his old, self, and knocks him out a lot more easy without Roselle begging for his life. As for Sorel, Boo takes care of him pretty much way more easy than 18 did, yet that was off screen, so we can't tell. Tien takes out Comfrey. Vegeta takes on Chapel and knocks him out. Hop goes after Bardock, who turns Super Saiyan. But Bardock has a sense that he has seen her type before and remembers to all those years ago fighting Gas and the Heaters. This girl Hop with the claws reminds him of Gas and of all his weapons. But regarding that thought and just shunning it from his complete existence, he takes her out instantly with just one blow of Super Saiyan. Oregano is taken out by the likes of Piccolo. Hycep is taken out by Tora, who turns Super Saiyan and even Super Saiyan 2 or 3 to take him out because, Hycep's absolute zero. Tora might be close to God level potential, but he would still need a higher power to even combat the ice power. Gohan fights Lavender, Goku fights Bergamo, and Raditz fights Basil, and the three Trio de Danger, or Trio of Danger, group together and propel a triangle danger beam. As such, Raditz turns blue, while Goku and Gohan turn God, and all of them prepare a weekend Kamehameha, combining Raditz's attack with both the Goku and Gohan's, which would kind of propel in a blue purple combined beam that would kind of be like a pinkish energy beam, which would honestly be a very cool brotherly, uncle, nephew, father, son Kamehameha weekend attack. Yeah. So, anyways, this more than makes up for the fact that Universe 9 is done. They are erased, and the contest continues. Vegeta is about to go for hit, as he did before, but is intercepted by Boda Magetta. Diem attacks everybody, but Frieza eye beams him out of the ring after disarming his wings. Tien takes out the likes of Shosa and Majora with absolutely no difficulty, and then is just about to have his manga interpretation of getting knocked out of the ring by Frost like he did in the manga, but Frieza saves him with paralysis. Frost is happy for this because now he can get revenge on Frieza and show off that he's not the only real Frost tyrant in the entire multiverse. And he powers up, first to 100%, and Frieza laughs at this, thinking he's a novice, But there's more. Frieza being around actually gave Frost incentive to start training. So Frost goes beyond 100% into fifth form Frost. That's right, we're actually getting quite a bit of Frost development in this story, just like we did with Cooler and King Cold. But Frieza just shows off his fifth form and shows how superiorly dominant he is in it, and wastes no time in just completely dominating, brutally massacring, and knocking out Frost out of the ring. Afterwards, Frost tries to attack and gets erased. Kaba knocks out Murasim and Nigirishi to get to Vegeta to fight him like canon, and Goku fights Caulifla. But Kale is intercepted from the sidelines before she can even try to help against Goku, and is intercepted by Frieza. Kale tries to attack, but it does nothing, and she gets angered and turns into her Berserker legendary Super Saiyan form. Frieza goes full power and unleashes a full power blast, thinking that whatever this form is, he's strong enough to this point where he could take on literally anything. But when the smoke clears, Kale is damaged, but this doesn't seem to register with her. If anything, her power grows, and she gets even more angry and powerful. It's like the blast only scarred her for a second. So Frieza gets angry, but remembers he is nowhere even close to his full power. And this girl, with this new Saiyan transformation he's never seen, she won't even get a second to go through her full power. And turns into Golden Frieza, but right when he does, Kale's on top of him and grabs him by the face, dragging him across the entire ground of the ring and is prepared to propel him out of it. But Jiren intercepts, knocking Frieza out of Kale's hand and propelling her with a blast of his own, knocking her unconscious. So Caulifla gets her, and that goes as the same. She's knocked out, and Caulifla has to tend to her. And then the Pride Troopers introduce themselves, and Frieza just can't help but smile and just groan in embarrassment because he notices something very familiar about these Pride Troopers. Something that I honestly think was a missed opportunity in canon. Frieza notices how similar the Pride Troopers are to his old Ginyu Force. And honestly, that's something that I feel the original show should have done to represent how it was and not just bring back Ginyu for a split second and be like, oh, you're dead now. But yeah, it's a very, very, very nice callback. And Caulifla, we're at the point where Caulifla and Kale are defending themselves against the Pride Troopers because everybody else, mainly Tupper, would get knocked out by everybody else with the exception of different members and much different power scaling. And everyone else would be knocked out in a similar way as to canon, if not just out by another person. But anyways, we're at the point where Caulifla is injured by the Pride Troopers. Kale turns Super Saiyan, and both of them attack the Pride Troopers and are about to knock him out, while Kale transforms back into her legendary Berserker form. And Frieza at this point, it's not like the androids and Goku waiting from the sidelines for these Saiyans to do the job of attacking for them. Frieza has other plans and turns golden and prepares a death ball. So the minute that Kale and Caulifla propel all the Pride Troopers out of the ring with their blast, except Kokot's, they are blasted from behind with a golden death ball and are completely and utterly broken, battered, and bruised. And with that, Kokot and the two Saiyans are knocked out of the ring permanently by Frieza, which pretty much means that, number one, Kokot, you don't have to worry about her showing up at all, and Kale and Caulifla, they ain't gonna do no Kefla nonsense. So yeah, Frieza just stopped that from happening. Then we get the Maidens of Universe 2 and their transformation, which doesn't get interrupted. And Vegeta attacks Ribrianne, and Bikel and Kakunza are both together, and Kakunza and Bikel are about to attack when Boo just launches from above and uses his move he trained with Goku and just propels a huge amount of blasts at them. And if it didn't work, especially against Kakunza, he would do the attack he used against Goku, where he made the blast a distraction, which was pretty much what the move was down for. And honestly, if Skinny Boo was in the tournament, that's why he wasn't, because it would literally be overkill. And this would be a prime example. But Boo's not the main focus of the story. He's just a prime factor of how frickin' P Universe 7 is in this timeline. And the fact I never really put Boo in the tournament before. Goku fights against Rosie, and that goes exactly the same. And Frieza just shuns off the love and everything like that, because he might not be evil or, an anti-villain like he was in canon at this point in the story, but that doesn't mean he's going to give in to the love. So, yeah. Jamise saves Rosie and Ribrianne, and they retreat. Gohan knocks out Butamo, and then him and Piccolo proceed to go together to fight Albany and Rubalt, knock them out, with much more ease because of their powers in the story, and Universe 10's erase next. Then Hit and Dispo fight, which goes exactly the same, except Frieza is the first to save Hit from Dispo by wrapping his tail around Dispo's arm before he can land the punch, and then Goku steps in front of Kenshi, who is about to attack him after seeing that now that it's a 3-on-2 situation potentially. And Kenshi says, no matter how many people you bring, the Pride Troopers won't fall. And Hit says, while time skipping from behind, worry about yourself. And knocks Kenshi out. Frieza instantly goes gold and just sucker punches Dispo right in the face. And then Goku and Hit step up next. Hit saying he doesn't need help, but recognizing Kenshi's out and Dispo's literally the only one left here, not only does Hit know that this is great for the gains, team with the few to save the many, it's that kind of situation. Dispo realizes he is in no way, even if he powered up, in a way to be able to beat 3-on-1, so he retreats, which is no problem for him. He could just bolt out of there instantly, even if he felt like they wouldn't let him or something like that. Either that or Toppo or Jiren would just step in. Raditz and Bardock knock out the likes of Dokori and Koei, and then team together fully to knock out Ganos, or, Ganos, however you want to frickin' call it, right when he transforms, showing that no matter how young you are, no transformation's a match for a pure, brutal Saiyan father-son tag team. Then, Hermilla and Prum are both knocked out by Tien, who is much stronger, and I've done this before, I believe, that he wouldn't have to sacrifice himself to knock out both of them and would be able to take them both on alone. Because even though he only has Mystic to his name, he was still very good in the tournament, much more than I think a lot of people give him credit for, especially for knocking out those two. So here, it would be a cakewalk. So, yeah, he stays in, knocking them both out. Then Goku fights Ribrianne again, and Rosie tries to intercept, but Frieza knocks her out with his own interception with a huge death cannon. Goku then turns God with Ribrianne distracted and knocks her out. Gohan then fights Jamise, but with a much stronger Gohan, Jamise is no contest, and Jamise is knocked out next. Goku then begins, the long-anticipated fight with Jiren, and sizes him up first. Frieza stands aside to watch, to see how far Goku's come in all this time of knowing him. Goku turns up the heat, literally, with God, and this actually forces Jiren to apply the same level of power as when he canonically fought Ultra Instinct Omen. And this proves that Goku's strength in this story is definitely showing. More than it probably ever has since the moment Super Saiyan 3 Kaioken became a thing. Besides, obviously, other things. And starts to turn up the heat, and this is where Goku realizes that God isn't enough. So he turns blue. And the two are actually even at this point, but then Jiren starts to pump it up little by little, showing how much of a beast he is. Goku then turns Kaioken in the midst of battle, and then Jiren turns up the power to when he fought Goku and Vegeta right at the end of the Tournament of Power, right before Dispo and Topo were knocked out and Top became God and everything. Goku then turns to the maximum blue Kaioken he can muster, past 20 in this timeline, considering the power difference. And right when he rushes towards Jiren with this power, when the eye beams don't seem to work on Goku, Jiren just goes for a full power punch, expecting this punch to completely and utterly break every bone in Goku's body and knock him out. But this was a big mistake, because it gave Goku the perfect alternative to use his ultimate trump card. He dodges. He is tapped into Ultra Instinct Omen, because remember, he unlocked this without a catalyst before the tournament, which happened in my Nom story, and potentially my Hercule story, still can't remember, but mainly my Nom story for reference, and he has it before the tournament regardless, and has some form of mastery with Omen, and at this point, once he actually flares up the aura and it's prominent to what he has unlocked to everybody, including himself, this Ultra Instinct Omen Goku is basically like Ultra Instinct Omen Goku when he fought Kefla, if not right around the third time of fighting Jiren canonically. So yeah, that's how much experienced he is with the form. I'm not going to go too deep saying he goes mastered right away. That would be ridiculous. But it is a omen, pun intended, for what's about to happen. Toppo sees Frieza from the sidelines and intercepts him, so the two begin to fight, and Frieza turns golden instantly. And this really one-on-one, Toppo can't compete. No Justice Flash, no Justice Tornado, no Justice Own, no arm cracking, shoulder pop, none of it. None of it works. Frieza is just too dominant. And honestly, I mean, how could he not be? Have you seen his gains in the story? So, Toppo's forced to transform into his god potential. And right away unleashes a Hakai, which you would expect Frieza to block and then get, sucked in by the one. But remember, two things here. Number one, Frieza's never been attacked by this like he was in canon, and he is much stronger. So, he catches the ball, but instead of keeping it or getting consumed by it, he uses the essence of it and propels it into his finger and shoots off a Hakai death beam right at Toppo. And Toppo, you would think this would completely just incinerate him or something. No, he still is a god of destruction pretty much. So he absorbs the energy back into his hand and slams it down into the ground. showing that while this was a very good attempt by this warrior to use his own power against him, he is not going to lose to such a technique. But this wasn't Frieza's last ditch, and he is nowhere, absolutely, positively nowhere, near his full power. This was a setup. And it shows when Frieza uses what was his Cage of Light technique as a Hakai Death Beam entrapment propelling ray attack. So basically, that Cage of Light he used in canon is now just a complete. Think of this as Super Boo's human extinction attack, but with Hakai death beams. Yeah. Suffice it to say, Toppo, without being killed, is done. There is absolutely no way he can stop this. And it's his own essence against him. So he can't absorb it. So, yeah, he's out of the ring. And Dispo then tries to attack Frieza while he's off guard and powers in to his super maximum light speed mode, but is intercepted by a still in the ring Hit, who attacks him with everything he has, getting his vengeance for earlier. And with one swift ultimate punch, Dispo is knocked out of the ring. Jiren, meanwhile, has powered into his full power. And at this point, things are getting real. And the two, Jiren and Goku, are locked in the most ultimate of combat. And Goku is at this point Ultra Instinct Omen in canon from the third time of fighting Jiren. Because, remember, he's more mastered with the form, so he's not going to tap out of it like he did. He knows how to regulate it for the most part. And we've seen how many times in fandom and in canon he could just tap in and out of Omen. So yeah. And since he's in this and is stronger, this forces Jiren to actually break his limits. Barely. So Goku's right at that level, whereas Master Ultra Instinct Omen in canon was way above him. They are completely and utterly even. But right whenever Jiren flares up and is about to attack and is going to punch, Goku dodges again. But this time, it's not just a normal Omen dodge. This time, he dodges and his hair flares silver. That's right. All of this, the training, the power differences, and everything has ensured mastered Ultra Instinct Goku in a much more epic and stronger and much more dominant and complete version in this story. And the two resume a much more heated and epic fight. And when the two clash, it's obvious Goku is much more stronger than he was not only in the original story, but that even if Jiren's at his full power, he's landing a few blows. But whereas he was dominant for a time against Master Ultra Instinct Goku in canon, he's barely dominant here. And that's caught apparent when Master Ultra Instinct Goku powers and literally shakes the entire Null Realm. You thought the entire Null Realm in the original was shaken? It's like 10 times more shaken with this power. And with an ultimate, just singular beam from his hands, Jiren is knocked out by Master Ultra Instinct Goku. So, after that, the rest of the tournament is a cakewalk. There's no need for Black Frieza or true Master Ultra Instinct Goku. Hit is like the main threat at this point. So, yeah, there's no contest. The Super Dragon Balls are brought to Universe 7, and all the universes are brought back. At the end, Frieza and Goku have one last heart-to-heart conversation about everything they've been through, the wish, everything. And Frieza smiles and says that he could not be more happier that Goku spared him all those years ago. All these years, he never would have expected an evil emperor like him to become a good guy and call Goku his friend. But he honestly thinks that if he had stayed the way he did, honestly, they would have never made it to this point, nor would the universe still be here. So honestly, Goku saved the universe by sparing him. And honestly, Frieza owes him more than he ever thought that he ever would, owing a person from a race that he originally wanted extinct, and that he's truly happy to call Goku a true friend. And Goku smiles and says that he couldn't agree more. After that, Broly and Paragus, there would be absolutely no reason to include them because they would honestly probably die of starvation on the planet Vampa. There's no one to bring them, to get their revenge. And I've done this before. And as for Cell Max, either the movie would almost go completely the same, or it would be a complete and total cakewalk. And that's the end to Frieza's good tale. So, Dragon Ball's worst tyrant ever in the entire Dragon Ball franchise turning good. And so genuine in half of his motives. All just because Goku saved him from getting cut in half. A Saiyan that he feared. A Saiyan that he found unworthy. A Saiyan who was the legend. And he saved his own life in the end. And they became friends? It's a lot to take in, but if we know the internet, we know that Frieza turning good is never beyond the realms of possibility for what-ifs. And that's the end of this story. So, like I said, I'm not the only one who's covered this. And I honestly think that I did really good with expanding, even if I didn't include Daima, upon Frieza's character and all his progression. With this, honestly, I think that Frieza, at the point where we're at in Super, he's honestly just an anti-villain. Ever since Super reintroduced him and then the Tournament of Power brought him back, he really isn't the maniacal tyrant we knew in Z. He really isn't. Like, when's the last time he cold-bloodedly murdered someone? Or, enjoyed pure malice or destruction? And now he's not even focused on immortality, he's focused on getting taller. So honestly, unless you include the manga, this what if was begging to happen. And honestly, might actually come to fruition, and Goku might just be rubbing off on him if we ever see a Super Season 2. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed my iteration of What If Frieza Turned Good, my last 3-year-old project on my Google Photos. So from now on, all Dragon Ball stuff will be completely new. No old stuff, it's all new, and no old having to crop pictures, old projects like that. It's all going to be brand new. Dragon Ball was the only iteration of that was the problem, but I'm just saying, you don't have to worry about that anymore. It will all be true, awesome, omniversal, new stuff. With this, the next McQueen Walking Dead episode will be coming up, along with the Billy Loomis and Saruman stories. And at the time of all of this, I'm going to be finally taking that break and, enjoying the fact that I have been finally caught up ever since the start of 2025. So stay tuned, because you've yet to see what the Omniverse truly is about to become for the rest of this year going forward into the launch of a true omniversal restart of the Omniverse of Nick.